And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. You're joined again with Shawn Gervais from OrbisX CRM and Marshall Hill from Pints and Policy Podcast, as well as hyperClean Car Care Products. And soon we will be calling Marty the King of Snow.
It's that white girl snow.
Yeah, exactly. So, we were having a discussion about foam prior to this. But on that note, it snowed here 2 days ago, which is bananas. But snow's gone now, which is good. But out of nowhere, we just got this flash freeze of, there was ice and all kinds of stuff. It was nuts. Did you guys have anything like that, or?
Dude, I don't know. I've been sitting on the beach at 80-degree weather. It's been awesome.
Oh, well, damn you.
Hey.
Man,
yeah, we went down, celebrated a 2-year anniversary, went down to St. Pete,
Nice.
Clearwater.
Oh, man, beautiful. Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was
All
an
right,
interesting
you did not see
place.
any snow.
Yeah. We had white sand, not white frozen stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky.
Oh, no.
That's amazing, man. And congratulations, by the way, too. 2 years.
Oh, yeah, I needed that. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
2 years is a long time.
It is, man. The first two feel like 20. That's for sure.
Wait. No, it's amazing.
It's been a blast. Everyone should do it. Yeah, absolutely. I always tell people, I'm like, yeah, it's so great. I actually did it twice. I married my wife twice. Same woman, 2 weddings. Long story. But we'll just leave it there. No breakups, though. But
hey, the second one must have been because of the tip, right?
Yeah. Had to give her the other half. That's what happened.
First one was the tip.
Second, just the tip. Second one, I came with the bouquet. Yeah, absolutely. But she still stayed after just the tip. So that's man, but that's amazing though. Jeez, man. And so what'd you guys get up to down there?
A lot of beer.
Nice.
A lot of sitting at the sand.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Listen, the way I beach, the way I do Florida is I like to sit.
Okay. Stop and flop. That's it. Boom. All right.
Like that's my
swimming
style.
Or no swimming? No swimming?
Oh yeah, no, I do love the water.
Okay. Yeah.
With my back, my neck, all that. Like I can't do too much. The good thing about St. Pete and Clearwater, it's a real low, not a lot of waves. I mean, it's the Gulf of Mexico, so it's a little more controlled than straight on the coast.
Perfect. Yeah.
So, it was a lot better. And yeah, I took my dive. I went down under the water for a bit.
Nice.
The interesting part about we were talking about this, dude. The week is like something about me and water and I just smile. I'm just happy, like beach life. And this we joke on our podcast about salt life and all the bumper stickers. And it's like, I get it. Like I actually bought one of those salt life stickers, but then I just saw so many people putting it on. I was like, there's no way I'm putting it on. This was 7 or 8 years ago, right? It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And, it is just, I'm an Oklahoma guy that never wanted to be in Oklahoma. Always wanted to be at the beach. So I sit down and I just, I'm just happy. I love seafood. That part of Florida is known for grouper. Grouper's that if anybody scuba dive, it's that ginormous fat fish.
Yeah.
They're pretty chill.
Those things live forever, apparently. Like they just live a long time.
I don't know that part. Yeah, I don't know. I just when you see the big ones, you're like, whoa, damn, that's a big old big old fish. My favorite part of the grouper is the cheek. So you can't find that at a restaurant. I did go to a couple places and I got grouper every time. I was like, God damn, like the hell, guys, do you have to cook it so long? Like,
can't
overcook fish.
Like, no. Fish is something you have to be really careful with, actually.
Hey, 40 something bucks for this little piece of fish. Don't overcook it. Like, that's all I ask. That's all I ask. There's one place, it was ridiculous. They're like, do you want it blackened? I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it blackened.
Yeah.
They put some blackened seasoning. They didn't blacken it. They overcooked it, and then they put some blackened seasoning. What the fuck are you all doing here? I was pissed. Like,
man,
I don't do anything about it. I just eat it. But inside, I'm like,
man,
look,
that's crazy.
This up for me.
Fish isn't crazy to cook. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a super complicated thing. Like, it's
throw it on, get it off. Like,
man, because we eat a lot of seafood here, and it's one of those things that I've seen a lot of people mess it up, but I don't actually get it in restaurants a lot, because I
Yeah,
find
you
that the
can't.
chefs,
Mhm.
yeah, they just fuck it up almost every time. You know, there's one time I almost died from this Arctic char. It was a bad experience. So anyway, I'll never eat that again in my life. It's
So the way I Florida, right? I lay down, I chill on the beach,
yeah.
but then I got to go to a market.
Okay, okay.
I have to go to a fish market, right? So that's when you can find the big shrimp. That's when I found the
Yeah,
grouper cheeks. There was
nice.
like 1 pound left or something like this in part of the thing. They thought they were out. And I was like,
Oh,
ah, damn it. Then they're like, oh, here's some. I was like, all of them. Let's go.
all of it.
Like
Let's go.
whatever's in there, let's bring it home. Like
100%.
grouper cheek, they come out already cut. Like it's just, they're a real,
Yeah,
real soft part of the, which is already should
yeah,
be a fatty fish you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
overcook it, right? So you just throw them in the oil for a little bit, almost like a scallop, right? Just for a
Okay,
little
yeah,
bit,
yeah. Quick, quick,
pop it
quick.
back
Boom.
out.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay. Light seasoning too, maybe a little butter, rosemary or something. Yeah,
No, I did I'll
yeah.
do Old Bay,
Okay.
a traditional
Yeah,
Old
yeah.
Bay's easy. Do you have Old Bay up there?
Sometimes I say sometimes because we have these weird like seasonal things. And so yeah, sometimes I can find it. There's a Loblaws near my house, and they sometimes have it. They put it in the international section.
Ah, yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense.
So just
For that
yeah,
part of Florida, I mean, what I do is when I'm getting the fish, I'll just ask the guy, "Hey, what do you
mm,
think seasoning?" Because most of the markets will
okay,
have, where you can find some interesting stuff. The
for
Slap Your
sure.
Mama is a real interesting one. They've got
Yeah,
some different seasonings that they'll come out with, but most of those guys will always just go straight back to Old Bay. So, you know,
okay. So it's kind of like that's the
I
go-to there.
asked
Yeah,
him,
yeah,
and he goes, "Oh, I do Old. Okay, I'll grab it."
yeah.
You know.
Done. You can always, if he's an old fisherman, you can trust him 100%, man. That guy lives and breathes fish, So
Mm-hmm.
man, I'm the same way though. I'm definitely an ocean guy for sure, 100%. I mean, that's why we moved to the Caribbean. Like I don't know, something about the ocean
I'm
and
always jealous of that.
like,
That's
yeah, it's
mm.
oh man, yeah, you would have loved it because I know you like scuba diving and stuff too. But yeah, they had sharks on one side. If I know you have that someday, you said you want to do
That's the
that
number one
cage thing.
dream.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want to go in the
That's
tank. I
not
want to
for
go in
me, but
the cage. You see the sharks. Yep.
man, geez, they weren't great whites, but they were sharks you should fear for sure.
But then even the ones that scuba dive down the bottom, right? And then they'll grab some fish out. And there's these sharks that don't bother humans.
Yeah,
There are plenty that don't want to eat a human.
it's true. There's most of them actually. They
Most, yeah. The only ones that are known to do anything is the gray white. And that's few and
yeah,
far between.
it's
There's a
true.
bull shark that they've seen, and there's some attacks from a bull shark, but it's a one bite and they're gone. They don't really like
Yeah,
the flavor of us.
it's
It's a
true.
good
They just
thing.
don't know what we are. Yeah, it's a good thing. Good thing we taste like shit.
Yeah.
Because
They're like, yeah,
it's not, it's a problem.
yeah.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy actually? So last night I was watching this thing on orcas, like killer whales. Holy shit, man. They've been attacking great white sharks, but with precision. They've been going after just the liver. And
Hmm.
so they'll find the shark and the shark's dead. And it's almost like there was like a razor blade cut and the liver's removed. It's
Hmm.
insane. And they're hunting them. It's to the point that the great white sharks are terrified now. If they detect
An
like a
orca.
pod of orcas or something, they'll leave their hunting ground for up to a year. For a year, a great white shark. He's just like, fuck that. He's just gone.
Well, that's what's
Like
great
that's
about orcas, right?
crazy, man.
Orcas are human friendly.
Yeah, this is true. And so it's like
Oh.
if they get rid of the sharks, perfect. But yeah, they are nuts, man. I always wonder like if someday they'll, I don't know, like not turn on it, but you know.
I'm, I'm really curious if I watch videos of orcas all the time too, and there's cool
Mhm.
ones of people out fishing and these orcas come up and it's like, man, I'd be really
Yeah.
hard tempted not to get in that water.
Yeah. I know, right? Just to
Like,
swim with them and like, yeah,
yeah, they're not gonna do it. Like,
yeah. Yeah, they don't want to mess with us at all.
ah, so I would
They want the
really
seals
be
and
hard pressed not to just get in that water.
Mhm. You know what's cool? Two things. I'm sure you know this. So you're watching it too. Just fun facts. One of their preferred like meals are these salmon, but not just any kind of salmon. There's something in their bladder or something they prefer the taste of. Their sonar has developed over the years to be able to detect the differences between the different salmon so they can zero in on that particular one
That's
and just
crazy.
decimate them. That's nuts, man. You know what I mean? Like how advanced is that? You know, like when you say like you got to be hungry and like go after what you want, like
Well,
that's
it's
it
got to
right
be
there, man.
precise. Yeah.
Yeah, let's all be happy that they're not as intelligent as we are, because if they were competing against most of the people we've seen in this industry, there's a lot of people that would be fucked. Yeah, oof, man. Yeah, you got to think like an orca, man. Because Jesus, but yeah, it's just wild, man. But I was really interested. What got me on that path is I was interested in. I love languages. Love how people communicate. We've been watching the show called Love and Translation. They take three guys that speak English, 12 girls from all different parts of the world that don't speak any English, and they have to get them to go on dates, and they're trying to find true love. And
That's
so they
cool.
they date each other. Yeah, it's kind of a cool concept, And so they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to communicate as best as possible. But the girls have an advantage. They have these earpieces that translate things, but only
Mm-hmm.
amongst the girls when they're wearing them. When they go on the dates, they have to take them off.
See,
And so,
Google made an update to one of their newest. I know it's not an AirPod. I just don't know what they call theirs,
what the
but
term is, yeah.
yeah, and where they've got it linked with their app,
Oh,
and
with the
they started
translate.
showing
Oh
where
shit.
yeah, you can have a conversation with somebody, and it will
That's
in real time translate for you.
everything that's being said. That's amazing,
Mhm.
man. See, like that's like think of what that's going to open up in the world.
Oh yeah.
It's huge, massive. I think a lot bigger than even people
Hell,
hearing this
I'll
are
know
going to
now when
realize.
my wife's making fun of me or something, right? Like
Yeah, exactly. You just have to be
I,
sneaky when you put
I
it
need to
in.
get one of those so I know what they're talking about around my house.
Exactly. Yeah, don't tell her what the technology is. Just, and you got to get two of them so it looks like just music, and then have the music app open on your phone or whatever. So yeah, see, incognito. That's what you got to do. But yeah, man, these orcas, the way they communicate with each other, and like we still don't understand, but the babies were trying to communicate, but they weren't saying anything that was recognizable, that humans had seen before, because they've been studying these things since like the 70s. And anyway, they realized that the moms were teaching them how to do the calls properly. So it's actually a learned language of some kind.
Hmm.
So who knows what they're saying, but they're trying to decipher it with AI and stuff like that and figure out what they're saying. But part of me kind of likes the mystery. I kind of like not knowing exactly what they're saying. Just knowing that they can do it is cool. I don't necessarily, because I might be disappointed. I might find out they're just saying stupidness. Like it might be nothing. Who knows? But anyway, it's pretty cool. That's what got me down that rabbit hole, man. But yeah, you seen anything interesting online lately, or
Man, I've just been staring
been
at
a,
blue
been on a beach?
skies and
You've been on
sandy
a beach.
beaches, man.
Bastard. Yeah,
And we've been doing a lot of transition over here, and
yeah.
I don't spend as near as much time on social as I used to. As I showed
Funny.
you the little lab and what we're doing here, it's like I'm
Yeah,
I'm more dove in. We've hired some people to do more of our
to manage
managing,
that
to do
side.
our ads, to do all that stuff. And then
Yeah,
Nick's taken on a much bigger role of that too. And he's going to
nice.
take on even more. And we're kind of going to move that away from me. Like
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah,
it's
it's
interesting, right? So
it
I'm not,
is.
I
Yeah,
thought about that this weekend. I mean, there was times I took my phone, just, I didn't need it.
you know what? It's funny you say that. My phone today's the first time I charge it in 4 days, which is crazy. Like in 4 days. Before it was
Yeah.
like that was sometimes twice a day I'd be charging the phone, you
And I
know?
bet you there's more and more people like us that are
Yep. Just tune it out.
slowly
Tune it out.
turning it because there's
Yeah.
definitely great advantage, like, and social media is a right, and at the
Yeah.
same time, it's also a
It,
so
it's yeah. It's something that like we have to get done for the business, obviously. So we've done the same thing. Like our two receptionists, they're taking that over now, and we're using AI to fill in some of the gaps. So they're not very good at finding the right kind of images to go through things, or sometimes it takes them too long. So we're just using AI to just spit out images based on whatever the post is going to be, or something like that. Or we take video in the shop, and we're using this program, and it just splices it together, makes a nice video. Boom, it becomes a post ready content. But yeah, stepping away from that stuff, it is something still necessary for some customers. But by and large, it's definitely not a task that I need to handle or any of my partners have to handle. Like it's not something that
well, it's a
I
big
want
part of
to
the
get
way
into.
we launched, right? Social was a
Yeah,
big foundation of our business, so I'm happy though to let it have somebody
just
else.
kind of
It's still, we're going to say it's extremely valuable for us.
100%. Yeah,
Like, I'm just happy to
it's
let
just
somebody
who's
else.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
hmm It
It's a
took me
natural
quite a while to
evolution.
get there. Let's just be real. Took me quite a while. Took me quite a while.
I know what you mean. Well, the same thing with me with the like OrbisX. I was answering millions and millions of messages. Like, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? And now that I've got staff fully trained up to answer all those questions around the clock, they can just run with it, and then I can get back to doing everything else. And it's a much better use of resources, right? Because like they can't do what I can do, but they can do that part of what I can do, and so it's better I focus my efforts elsewhere, you know what I mean? And it just makes sense. But yeah, so me, I wasn't enjoying myself on the beach. I've actually been under the weather unfortunately for about a week and a half now.
Because
But
you enjoyed yourself at Cancun, or where you guys went in
it. That's
Mexico.
what happened. Exactly.
Come on. What are you talking about?
It's true. And then that that might have been it.
3 days. You had like 10. So come on.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. But I didn't have any grouper. Okay, so that's the difference. Actually, to be honest, I had some really good fish down there. But
but you're probably better than my grouper. I know that.
Oh yes.
That restaurant grouper was brutal. Now the grouper cheeks was pretty good. And flounder. Do you ever eat flounder? I love flounder.
I've never had flounder actually.
Flounder's great. It's that fish that swims on its side.
That one sideways. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You got to try it if you can find it. Flounder's good fish.
Okay, there's a place not far from me. It's called the Fish Market. I'm going to check them out. And
you should.
What a very original name, huh? A lot of people, I'm sure, would criticize them. You put a lot of thought into that.
I think that's genius. There used to be our old warehouse. There was a Chinese restaurant down the street from it, and their name was Best Chinese.
Perfect. Best Chinese. Beautiful. Oh my God. Their whole business is SEO ready. It's just
Best Chinese takeout delivery.
Yeah. Perfect. That's exactly what you want. That's where, because I've been criticized before by some that, Auto World, like it's not very creative or something. I'm like, what would you rather me call it? You know what I mean? We do everything in the world of automotive. Auto World. Done. Just keep it moving.
Easy.
But and what was I supposed to call it? Sparkle Clean or something. I don't know. Anyway, I like the name. I'm good with it. And yeah, we use the same silhouette as a million other companies as well for the logo. Because I put maybe 15 minutes into it. Because it wasn't severely revenue impacting, to be honest.
Well, we got the most Google reviews on the
there you go. Exactly. You know what I mean?
So, Shawn, I will give you props. I did talk to a lady and thank you for the people that from the last episode, we talked about distribution or wholesale of somebody that wants to be in that world, and had a couple people to reach out. So it was great. One lady I talked to, she said something about Google reviews, and I go, okay, let me just pause right there. Shawn and I are on different sides of this. She's like, I'm on Shawn's side. And I was like,
there we go. Boom. Yeah. See? Oh, man. Yeah, the Google review stuff. Oh, man. We're running some pretty cool contests right now internally with our staff. And we've noticed such a huge change. It's amazing. But yeah, the Google review stuff, that honestly, I'd say in OrbisX, my favorite feature is the review side. Because for me, all the other stuff of staying organized is great. The automation, the marketing, yada, yada. But the Google review side, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like a bar showing me exactly like real world feedback, how things are going. But
the chess game of it, you're right. Yeah. Like the business game of reviews, you're 100%. There's zero, it's 100% correct.
Yeah.
The business side.
Yeah.
When it was time for me to leave my Airbnb review, did I leave it under what I thought somebody really should know about this place? Or did I give it a 5-star and just move on? Because, it was good enough. Yeah. But those pictures, right? Airbnbs are now being run by realtors who, realtors love to press the envelope about how amazing some place is without using the word amazing, right?
That's true, yeah.
There were some pictures that we had
small, they'll say intimate bedroom.
Yeah. But it went back to some of these pictures and I was like, how'd they come up with this picture from, and we had to really look around and figure out how they did, like, it was a great place. It was a good place. It was good enough, like, whatever. But one of the reasons I got that Airbnb was I believed that I was going to walk out the back door and walk out onto a patio that's what they showed.
Okay.
They showed this patio and they were drinking some coffee and there was this patio and there was the beach.
Oh man, and what happened?
They failed to leave out, and this, we were going through it. We just arrived, and I'm, this is great, and she's happy, but I'm like, just wait till you see this view out of the back, the back door.
Yeah,
you go through the bathroom to the back door, and I went, what are we doing here?
Oh,
sure
man,
enough,
just hyping it up. Yeah,
yeah, didn't even exist out of that back door.
Damn.
It was a community patio because this was a condominium place, and it was a community patio, which is all good.
Yeah.
We still enjoyed the patio.
Sure.
Breakfast, the last day,
like they definitely gave
I
the
opened that
impression that it
door
was
and I
your
went,
private.
motherfucker. Like, y'all got me on that.
Damn.
Did I leave that in the review?
No.
I gave him my 5-star and I moved on.
I see what you mean.
I get the business side of it, but when it comes to I just don't read reviews. I don't pay attention to reviews because none of them, they're just not real.
What? It's funny you say that, yeah, because so Amazon, I remember when there was that whole thing where there were businesses were like
unverified purchase.
Yeah. And so then they brought in verified purchase as a way to solve it. The problem was that people would just, I'm going to send you some free shit.
Yep.
So buy it and I'll send you back the money. I'm going to send it to you and then you get to keep it, but leave us a review. Right.
Yep.
And so then it started being like, oh, it's a verified purchase. And then it's product launched 2 weeks ago and it's got like 3,000 reviews and they're all positive.
Smart for them.
Oh yeah. Smart
for them. The Shawn Gervais book. But...
Yeah. Exactly. Thumb up for everything. But you realize it. And so now myself as well, I actually look at the reviews and I'm like, if there's too many, I'm like, no, can't be true.
Yeah, can't be true.
And so I look for, something, and I really look for, there's always one guy. If there's a ton of reviews, there's always one guy that's super thorough with it. And he breaks it down. You can see he if it's a thing, he took it apart or something. And he's like, look, I bought another one from this other place and he's got to compare. There's always some guy that's like super thorough. I'll look for one of those. If I can't find it, quickly, I just move on. But I would almost rather buy a product that hasn't been reviewed at all, but still going with a company that I know I won't have like an issue with refunds or something like that. So like Amazon, it's like perfect. I'll buy whatever through Amazon. I could probably package up something I bought from Walmart and send it back to them and they'll give me the money back. It's that good. But when it comes to local businesses, yeah, I don't know. I think I look for certain thresholds, to be honest. Like if it's a business and they've only got 5 reviews and they've been in business for 10 years, I'm like, maybe they're just not even going after reviews. So me, I'd say I'm a more like savvy consumer in that regard because I can look at their website and I can see like, oh, they don't even have like online ordering or this and that. So obviously,
you're right. Because there's some of these companies that actually will ask people to leave reviews and they'll send emails to say, hey, leave us a review, and they'll, pound them for reviews.
Oh yeah, there's there's loads of companies.
These companies.
Yeah.
What's wrong with these guys? No, but it was funny that she was like, I'm on Shawn's side. It's like, all good. Listen, that's my only deal, right? I'm just saying it from a personal side. I have a hard time with reviews. From a business side, you and her were 100% correct.
Yeah. From personal side. But I know what you mean. There's a place near us that I think it's called Golden Palace.
The average person's never going to catch on. So get as many reviews as you can.
Exactly. Just get as many as possible. They're going to just see the number. The biggest thing I will say is that once you get to the number, where the reviews do help out with someone like yourself is that I would say it could pique your interest more if they were to say 1,250 reviews. Like let's say it's an Airbnb in Chicago and it could be like, 1,250 reviews from, I don't know, visitors from Oklahoma or something like that, right? If there was something, it might be something.
Oh, if it was more specific to somebody like me.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is where
you're the AI guy, man. Chop chop.
Yeah. Well, so we do. That's a good point. So we do this now, right? In similar ways. So there's like the new Game of Thrones thing coming out, right? New season 2 or something. I personally don't watch it. I don't know, something in darkness or I don't know, something. The only reason I know about it was brought up in the team meeting because we're doing our promotions and we do a lot of stuff around. I'm probably giving a tip right now without even realizing it, but we do a lot of stuff around movies and TV shows because it's something that can appeal to mass people, but very specific. Like people are, if someone's like a Game of Thrones person, they're usually like a fanatic, or someone likes The Office or something like that, right? So when you throw out something that only they would understand, you know, it becomes something that appeals to them instantly. So we use The Office quite a bit, and you can target people that like The Office, which is pretty cool. And so Google either, not Google, sorry, Facebook either knows that by them going and liking that page, or just by their search activity and stuff like that.
That's definitely a tip. It's definitely a tip.
Okay, yeah, I'm in tip territory. That's that's new one, tip territory. But so okay, so to finish off this tip, I guess accidental, but we're doing a promo right now around the Game of Thrones.
It just fell in. It's an accident.
Fell in. Sorry, baby.
I'm not sure how that happened.
Yeah, and then she said I do, and but so we're doing this thing right now, and we're targeting them. So we had to do some research on quotes and stuff like that, and memes from past seasons and stuff like that. And anyway, we're putting together some campaigns targeting them, and then we try and make jokes of things, and we're like, we'll say whatever the quote is if we find something that's clever, and then we're like, we're not. I'll use the Office one because that was one of our most recent ones. But there's always like fights between Michael and Toby, the HR guy, and so we'll put stuff about them too, like arguing or something, and then we're like, it'll be Michael yelling at the HR guy, and then it'll be like, yeah, but Auto World has 1,250 plus reviews, and so we'll put in shit like that. And so we put funny things like that together, target these people. It draws them in, and that's where you can use things like your reviews and stuff, help with credibility and so on and so forth. But I guess since it accidentally happened, that tip is for think of some clever things you can do around people's hobbies and interests that will strike a chord with them, because they're likely to share it with people. They're likely to definitely they're going to like tell their partner about it. Oh my God, you know how I love The Office? Look what this company did. Random shit like that is going to happen because you're tapping into something deep within their psyche. It's a really good trick. A mini tip that was unintentional. But
others are running out. You got plenty to go, huh?
I know. Yeah. See, it's so true. We want yours, Jesus. Yeah. What was that thing? You got to be careful of the guy that winks at you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Especially when you run out of steam after what, like 5-6 episodes or whatever they did. That's crazy. Anyway, best of luck. I hope they find some tips. I've got bouquets over here if they want to borrow some.
You got bouquets.
Yeah, I'll give them a tip or two.
They're running out and you got bouquets. There we go.
All day long, baby. So real quick before we dive into some stuff, some fun stuff, I have in my hands here the first draft of a book by this guy here, Shawn Gervais, OrbisX.
I know that guy.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, he's got bouquets of tips. And so I'll show you the back, and I'll show you the front, and then there's pages. It's a book, and the title of the book is The Art of Automotive Customer Service: Elevating Your Business Through Personalized Interactions. And it's going to be 100% free, but what I'm going to do is a slow release. So I'm just finalizing a few things, and then this will be given to somebody, and we're going to figure out how we're going to determine that somebody some point through this episode. And then everybody else will get it about a month or two after. So you'll have an early head start, and you'll get a free book, another one that I've written, which is good. I plan on launching another 2 books by the end of the year. I try to do 3 or 4 each year, and you will be the first one to get the first one of 2024, which is good. So anyway, whoever he or she is, and we'll figure out how we determine that. I don't know, coin flip, or whoever tells us.
What makes you decide to write a book?
So a few things. So usually what happens is, as I go through life, whether it's through, questions that my staff ask me, or questions that friends ask me when they're starting businesses, or, in this case, it was OrbisX members that had asked a few things. I accumulate things, and I start to look for pain points that a lot of people have. And I kind of have this knack for just quickly solving problems. So just kind of like, I can kind of foresee something like, oh, this is how I would solve this, and I can just do it. A lot of people struggle with parts of that. And I've gotten a lot out of reading and audiobooks myself over the years. And I always wanted to give back, but the big stumbling block, as you'll know, Marty, is that with books, oftentimes they're long. Like everybody feels
too long.
Yeah, I have to write
too much information.
Amount of pages, right? And I always wanted to make concise books that literally strip out all the bullshit and just give someone exactly what they need to know. And so I think of how I talk to my kids. If I talk to my kids and I'm trying to teach them a life lesson or something, it's got to be quick. It's got to be, like when you're crossing the street, look both ways. It's not, if you're crossing the street and it happens to be that, you're with your friends and there's a bunch of cars out, like you've lost them and they're dead already. You know what I mean? So it's just get right to it. But the big problem with a lot of people with reading is that books are just so long. So like my masterclass book I put out, I think it's only 110 pages, and that's because there's like 28 chapters or something like that, and it's only each chapter is like 1 to 2 pages, and it's just right to the exactly what you need to know. Jump right into it. I don't like to waste people's time, and I feel that they'll get the most value out of it. So I figured I could write books, to help people out. And what we do on the podcast is great. A lot of people tune in, they listen, they learn stuff from it. But sometimes too, there's people that they're maybe in a different industry, and so this could still help them out. Or it's someone that hasn't quite stumbled upon OrbisX yet, or hasn't stumbled onto the Off the Clock show or Pints and Polishing podcast, things like that. And so this is a way that I can quickly distribute things out there for people. It's as simple as this can get emailed to somebody, and then they send it to 5 people they know that could benefit from it, stuff like that. So anyway, that was my motivation behind writing the books I've written so far. It's mostly just I feel like I can disseminate information to people in a concise format that is free and helps their life out. I don't know, kind of just feels good, Man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the main thing. And since I have such an abundance of tips and I don't run out, I figured might as well just put it on paper. But I'm going to put my tip on paper for you guys. That's what I'm going to do. Sounded a lot worse than I meant it to come out. But anyway, my apologies. I've been sick for a week and a half, okay? But yeah, so, well, you were in Florida and I was here freezing during the cold weather we had. I saw something on the news.
Listen, you chose Canada, not me.
This is true. Yeah. Well, in all fairness, well, I guess being part Native American, yeah, we chose Canada. or we, long time ago, I guess.
Or you got moved there,
Yeah. Or we got moved there, exactly. So it's either way, it's something I've considered moving.
Your dad chose it for you.
Yeah, exactly. See, damn him. But yeah, I'm gonna have to have a talk with him this weekend. But yeah, so I was watching the news though, and I mentioned this before the episode started, but I saw some news about Tyson and his jumping back in the ring. And as we talked about before, I won't dive into too much about the Tyson fight, as everyone's going to have their own opinions and everything. As a boxing aficionado, I'm not too eager for it. But anyway, that being said, what I do see is 2 men taking opportunities that they have in front of them. And I think that it's important for people to take opportunities when they're presented. And the benefits for them are, publicity and, staying relevant and so on and so forth. There's a lot of opportunities. And you got to think, if you were a 57-year-old man jumping in the ring, even if you were, the champion of the world and you were a beast at one point, you got to think that still it's going to be some hesitations. Sure. Right?
Paul's got he's got some strength behind those punches. I mean,
this is true. Like I wouldn't want to take one. Oh yeah, he's a legit boxer. And so, but still 57 is 57. So you got to think he's approaching it with a different mentality. But what it is he saw an opportunity in front of him and he's seizing it, which is good. And that's something we talk about a lot on the episodes here. And anyway, somehow I got that connected with Albert Einstein, which you're probably like, what the hell does Albert Einstein and Iron Mike have in common here, And so it's about opportunities. And there was a time where Albert Einstein had to give a presentation on physics, and he wasn't feeling well. He was going to cancel it. And his chauffeur said, listen, I've seen, sat through thousands of your presentations. I know them inside and out. Why don't we switch clothes and I will give your presentation? This is a true story. And Albert Einstein thought about it for a second and he was like, sounds like it could be fun. He believed the guy's confidence. So they go to this conference, and sure enough, there's the chauffeur dressed up as Albert Einstein, gets up on stage and starts to deliver picture perfect word for word, his entire presentation. Delivers it flawlessly. Albert Einstein's blown away, of course. It's just regurgitating stuff he's seen, though, right? So now it's the Q&A period, and one of the reporters had asked a really thought-provoking physics question, a really difficult thought-provoking physics question. And the chauffeur responds back and he says, you know what? That question is so simple and so easy to answer that even my chauffeur could answer that question. And he lobs it back to Albert Einstein.
Nice.
Who proceeds to give the most sophisticated and thorough explanation of this question. And it was done so well that now, by what everyone thought was a chauffeur, that no other reporter wanted to ask any more questions for fear of looking like an idiot, because they asked a question that a chauffeur could answer. And long story short, the lesson there is that, one, the chauffeur saw an opportunity where he could, demonstrate his skills and capabilities and help out his boss beyond just driving a car. But so he saw that opportunity that was there, but he also understood his limitations in that he was able to deliver and regurgitate what he had seen 100,000 times, but he wasn't a physicist just by putting on Albert Einstein's clothes, right? So he had to also recognize that I can take this opportunity, I can, likely advance his career, and maybe he could help out in other fashions other than just driving a car, but he knew his limitations, and he had to now think quickly on his feet and use his skills to lob that serious question to the right man. And there's a lot that can be learned from understanding the opportunities that are there, and opportunities can be positive and negative at times depending on how we look at them. And something I've been getting asked a lot lately that ties into this has been around pricing, and people are excited because we're business owners and we're excited at opportunities, but then sometimes we get scared of others having the opportunity. And so sometimes others have the opportunity to maybe see your price list, maybe have a deeper understanding of your business and how you operate. And that opportunity scares us at times because we're worried about someone else's opportunity and them taking that opportunity to become Albert Einstein. Maybe they're not going to do it to assist us, but they're going to use it against us. So sometimes opportunity is a good thing where it's like, oh, I got this new contract. We're going to take over all these fleet vehicles or work with a dealership. It's going to be amazing. That opportunity excites us. But sometimes someone else's opportunity can hinder our progress because we spend so much time focusing on how can I limit their opportunity so that I can keep my business safe. And I think it's something that a lot of people go through. Some handle it better than others. But I wanted to get your feedback as well as feedback from the group and members. If people want to comment, if they're pro or against hiding your pricing and letting your employees just have transparency as well as your customers have transparency on your rates.
So there's a fear inside of detailing that I've had happen to me. And that's somebody that works with you or a partner. This was the hard part, right? Like helping somebody, build a business together because of their situation and where they were at. And me saying, yeah, man, okay, you want to do a mobile business? Okay, I'll help you. Let's do it together. We'll be partners.
Yeah.
And then to that one day when the money stopped coming in and I had to go start trying to grab as many customers back from this kid that made a mistake. Later in life, had a drink. He admitted his mistake. Like, I really fucked up. Like, yeah, dude, you did.
Yeah,
you really messed up here. So I get it. Like, I get the let's just say what it is. It's fear. Like, I get the fear of somebody taking what you've built. A lot of us come from a tough part of life where we feel we don't have a lot of, so we get into these businesses and, it's going to make our life. It's going to be the answer. It's why we always want the secret sauce or ask somebody else what their secret, because somebody's got a secret. And if I can just do what they do or get what they get,
then my life will be perfect.
My business will meet all the needs that I have for myself.
Yeah.
So then you get somebody else that wants to come in. Ooh, no. Right.
Yeah.
This is what
It's fear.
it's fear. It's just what it is. It is fear. What are you afraid of is what I want to ask. Like, I had no fear that this kid would have done that. I went into it full trusting. I had other people later in my life, and even this guy did it to me again. Like, kind of screws me over again, right? Like, there's plenty of people that are always going to get what they want. They're always going to screw somebody else.
It's true.
And I guess that's where I kind of always go, it's a long game.
Yep.
What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that you're not going to make it? Are you afraid that this new employee is going to ruin this vision that you had?
Built? Yeah.
So then come on, where's your where is it? Where's your faith? Faith in you, right? Like, you're the reason you're doing this, aren't you? Your customers are buying you, aren't they? Like,
it's true. You should be exuding from the business,
aren't
absolutely.
they? You know, like, if you're afraid, then that might mean you do have a reason to be afraid. You do have. We talked about, right? Like, it's interesting when you watch lions work with hyenas. Like, when somebody doesn't want to fight, they sit down, right? They protect they protect that backside. They protect their weakness. Like, are you afraid because you know you have a weakness that is unprotected? Like, is that what it is? Are you're really just afraid of your own self? You're afraid you don't have the ability to do this long term, and this person's gonna take it from you.
They could just take it away just like that.
Take it away like that. Like, I really think that's what you boil it all the way down. I really think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree because I look at it like this. I say, and I've got partners in auto world. So like Nick, I've always worked with Nick. Every venture we do pretty much start together for the most part, and then we've pulled in Paul as well. And it just makes the whole organization just run smooth as butter. But there was times when Paul was coming in that maybe he was worried that me and Nick were gonna, because we started it together, he was gonna get shafted at some point because we were the ones that were. And there might have been fears on Nick's side or my side that this new guy's coming in, maybe I'm gonna get booted out or something. Who knows? There's things happen, and then we have to start hiring people. And it's do we worry? But for me, it was always a matter of there's so many pieces in the business like that make up a business. There's your accounting, your marketing, the creativity behind the ads, the putting up the website, everything from payroll, managing tips, managing customers, replying to 5-star reviews. There's a million things you have to do. If someone comes along and they take one little piece of it, it doesn't give them the foundation that's needed to succeed in business. So I was never really worried about it to that degree. Some people I find hold on to certain things in their business as if it's the recipe for making Coca-Cola. And it's like, in one aspect, that recipe is super valuable because if they could reproduce it, but others have tried, others have come close, you know what I mean? And maybe there might even be some out there that are good replicas, but reality is there's so much more to the Coca-Cola brand and the company that if they're not really at threat of some one singular employee doing something. And I think that with your business, you have to realize that the same guy that you're subcontracting to wash some cars or something, if you wouldn't trust him to do your accounting and your marketing and all these other things because you don't think he's capable, well, then don't worry so much if he's going to see how much you're charging the customer, because there's all those other pieces that if he was to branch out on his own that he's going to have to do. And if it comes to, well, I don't want him to see how much we're charging because, then he's going to be looking at what he's getting paid in compensation. He's going to see a discrepancy there and he might be upset and demand more money. Well, reality is you're the business owner and you're the one dictating within obviously state laws, what you're going to be compensating employees for and how you're going to do that. And at our shop, we make sure that we build up much more than just their salary. We make sure that they know that we're there for them through other things. We give them random bonuses to, take their wife out or something like that. We build a better company culture so that it's not as much focused on the money. But at the same time, we also have team meetings and we let everybody know, like, hey guys, let's say we just bought a brand new extractor. We let them know the costs of a business and what gets factored into the pricing without directly telling them, hey guys, the reason we're taking all this and you're getting only that is because it's expensive running a business. Nobody gives a shit. They don't want to hear that. But what we do is we let them know other ways. We got a new extractor. We bring it in the room. We say, hey guys, just letting you know that extractor you're using right now, you might as well wave goodbye to it because we got this brand new, beautiful one. We picked it up for $3,000 and it's going to be night and day different for you guys. I know it's expensive, but we're reinvesting some of the profits into the company to make sure your job is easier, make sure you're doing a better job. They hear things like that and they're like, okay, so this is where the money's going. It's not like we're just stockpiling it and, deep diving into our swimming pool full of coins. There's little things you can do that involve them in the process. Not that you have to even do that, because you definitely don't have to justify what you're doing with your profits or why you're charging what you're charging. Reality is they accepted to do the work for X price. And if they don't, work on finding somebody else, because if they're going to keep doing that, that might not be someone that's there long term anyways. So if they're showing those kind of warning signs, that's a problem. And at our shop, I could care less which one of my staff see how much the invoice is. I could even care less if a customer sees our profit loss on an invoice. I could care less if they see, oh, geez, brought my car to you guys and you made 85%. I don't care. Doesn't matter. You knew what the price was. We told you the value. You accepted it because you felt the value was there. I was able to get the work done for less than what you're paying me. That's how the economy works, So I don't have any fear of these kinds of things, but it definitely, I would agree, it's definitely driven by fear. And I think that the big thing that scares me, that I'm afraid of, is giving in to fear, because fear can be debilitating. Fear can cause you to stop focusing on your business in the right avenues and the right areas that you should focus on. And instead you spend all your time worrying about your staff, and that starts to come across. It's almost like if your spouse is working late and they're genuinely working late and you're like, oh, where were you last night? What are you doing? You start accusing them of things and stuff like that because of fear that doesn't really exist. And all of a sudden they're like, you're not a lot of fun to talk to. I'm going to go find somebody else. And so fear is just interest that you're paying on a debt that hasn't even arrived yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a gem right there. Yeah.
Is that an extra tip in that bouquet?
That was an extra tip. That was the moment.
Oh.
Sorry. No, just the tip part. Just the
a little much.
Oh yeah, I know. See, it's the Negroni. Sorry, my apologies. But I do think that it can hold a lot of people back, and you're going to have a real big problem. Last story on that note is I did some consulting once for a company. I can't mention the brand because of an NDA, but huge, massive brand, billion-dollar company. They sell clothing, handbags, things like that. And I did some consulting for them about 15 years ago on their theft prevention. And what they were trying to stop was staff from stealing. And so staff would go on their breaks and they would check their bags and make sure they didn't, walk out the store with anything, stuff like that. This particular location, it was in a relatively decent sized city. There's about 1 million people. In this location, they were doing $1.5 million a month, which was pretty decent for them 15 years ago. Yeah, high-end clothing. So it's, big dollar ticket items, but they were losing a lot of product as well. And more importantly is they had high turnover. So it was a really high turnover. And so they were trying to solve a bunch of problems, but they said their main focus was the theft. They said, once we get that under control, we can tackle all the other stuff. And my first advice to them was, I actually think you work backwards. I said, I think that if the people enjoy working here, you're going to have lower turnover, people will stay, and people are going to be less likely to want to steal your shit anyways. So I said, you're focusing on the theft side, but let's work backwards instead. So I said, the first thing you got to stop doing is checking people's bags, because even me, I went in as a consultant. They checked my bag when I went in, my bag when I left. And I was like, I got to be honest, like how I felt.
It's a bit much. Yeah.
It's a bit much. And I said, I instantly felt like I'm a criminal, like I'm guilty of something. And I felt like you guys are just scared of everybody. I didn't even want to be here. And so I said, look, that's how your staff are feeling when they go on break.
Then what do you think they're going to do? They're going to steal from you to say,
yeah, fuck you. Exactly. You're going to accuse me of it. I'm going to do it. Right. So I said, tackle it the other way instead. And you got to think this company too. So I worked with them for 3.5 months, and I helped them go from 1.5 million per month to 5 million, which was a
Awesome
huge
job.
jump, right? So thank you, appreciate it. And well, I mean, they did 90% of the heavy lifting, right? So I'm not taking credit for that huge jump, but it was me helping them reframework their mindset towards these things and say, listen, like your staff, you really have to. They're your bread and butter. They're the ones that are selling to the customer. They're the ones that are putting on the smile and showing up early and opening the store. And they're the ones that, are flirting with the guy a little bit and getting him to upsell and buy a watch. That's what's happening. But when you kill that energy, you completely kill all of those sales. So your sales are just plummeting. And then the person's not hitting their quota. You're chewing them out because of it. And all of this stems from the fear initially of just you checking their bag and giving them a hard time. And then like, fuck, just get them through the door. If they steal $100 worth of shit, but then they go out on the floor and they sell 5,000, that's a win. You know what I mean? So it's not good, but you can still focus on the theft side later with cameras, security, stuff like that. There's different things you can do, but by and large, that helped. And my point of that whole story is that the fear that they had was just creating this toxic environment that it didn't allow any room for growth. It was literally like putting up a sunblock in front of your garden, and then you're expecting that you're going to have this beautiful harvest, and it's just not going to happen. So anyway, that's my tip of tips. It's funny because I did write down, so I actually had an actual tip, but I kind of just went all over the place with my tips. That sounded bad also. So keep it in one place, Shawn. So yeah, I tell you what, I'll let Marty jump in here, but I do have a tip that on the perfect prompt for ChatGPT that I will post after this, and that might be a fun way to give away the book. Is let us know how you guys are using ChatGPT for your business, and then I will post if you are, and if you aren't, let us know how you would like to, and we'll go through that, and we'll choose someone at random. They'll get the first copy of the book, and I will post how to make the perfect prompt, the formula that you can use in ChatGPT for so much more than what you think. It's not just for telling stupid jokes or writing a social media post. You can do amazing stuff, and I will dive into that after the episode as well. Awesome. Anyway,
cool.
Good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing who wins that.
Bouquet. See? All over the place. Jesus. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there with the fear. That was spot on. Yeah, it's detrimental to get past that for business. Anyway, I'm diving back in. Can't help myself. Jesus Christ. All right, before I have to go to fucking tip rehab.
Tip rehab. Others running out. You got to go to rehab. You got too much.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got to do something last week that I haven't done in a while, and I heard a story. This story, for any of us that we'd say we don't come from much, right? There's a lot of us in the industry that we'd put ourselves in that category. And you can define it in whatever you want. You just would look at other people and you go, yeah, they started further along than I did. I had a tough time growing up, or I had tough this, or I had that, right? Whatever it is. Last week I got to ride a bike, and that was awesome. I haven't ridden a bike in a while. It's been quite a long time. And I was riding my bike. Well, it was a stationary bike, but whatever. I got to go 20 minutes. That was hard for me.
Right. There you go.
Pumped. I could feel some stuff in my legs. That was great. So that's for those of you that know, spinal stenosis, your spine collapses itself, and so then the nerves cut off the muscles. Stop talking to them. That means they don't get blood. That means that they go really hard, and stenosis and trying to rehabilitate it it's not only a pain thing, it's a mind thing, because you're trying. It's like in a sense, it's like your brain has lost connection to parts of your body. The same as a stroke victim.
Okay.
So there's been part of my recovery where sometimes my mouth will talk like this, and there's parts of my legs I don't feel like. So to be on the bike was I'm just thrilled that I'm at that part, right? I'm getting to move and getting to do some exercise. So I'm in the bike and I'm listening to, let's see, what was that book? The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. And he tells a story, and those of you can relate, I want to first say, hey, I feel for you. But then I would also say, those of you that can relate, be like, hey, even if you go, I wasn't that far bad growing up, I just went through some stuff. The point, I think, of these stories and hearing people's stories of where they came from and where they ended up, you do have to take a part of the same way we took a part of some characteristics of somebody else's story, right? That we talked about in the like, you can hear somebody's story and you can go, all right, well, if they did that, then that means there's a pathway. Now, I can't do the exact same thing because they were in different country, they're in different time, really different world, like a different person. So it's not going to do it all, but I can take some stuff out of it. And it's a story about this girl whose mom dies and her dad dumps her and her sister off at an orphanage, a Catholic orphanage, and says, hey, I'll be back, but I just need doesn't come back. Right. Like, so two girls got these sisters. One girl starts, listening to music, finds some music, starts getting creative, imagining, creating things about lives and listening to stuff. Well, comes of age, and interesting part about that time, and I think it was Paris. Interesting part about that time. Listen, it happens today, right? Like, I got hoes in different area codes, right? Like, come on, that happens. Well, if you were very wealthy in that time of Paris, you could have a chateau or a little, whatever you call that thing on the side of the hill, right? Like this little palace, right? Your house. You can have one in different parts of the country, or maybe even a different. And you would actually, what happened there is they would take a girlfriend to bring in, and she would kind of oversee and make sure. And then when he came back, it was his girl, right? Like, hose in different area codes. I get it. It was just 100-something years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. The originals.
The originals. So she becomes one of these women.
Okay.
And the first times with the parties and stuff, she didn't get to go to them. So she started figuring out how she could. Oh, shoot, I just hit my microphone. A lot of times she would go into the and want to know how she could be a part of the parties. So the way she did it was she went into the boyfriend's closet.
Okay.
Her
I see where this is going. Yeah.
And then she put on his top. Unbuttoned it a bit. Then she started getting to hats, and she started getting into like, people need to go back and hear this story because you'll figure out who she is later, and you go, wow, I never knew. She began to create. We all want to know how we get somewhere. We all want to know, right? You go see, we've talked about it. We'll always say this. These people that go into the groups and go, well, how do I do this? Right?
Yeah.
Can, right? Like, all the amount of options are endless. It really comes down to you.
Yeah. What are you willing to do?
What are you willing to do? Right?
Yeah.
Also, go back to that fear and go back to this question is, do you believe that you can?
Yeah. And
there comes that very bottom crucial aspect. Didn't matter where she was in life. She figured out something. She figured out a way. Next, she got invited by another dude, right? Come over to his place because as her clothing line grew, she needed more and she needed to talk to these people. And he was going to help her do this. And she ended up owning her own store. But then she got into wanting more. How can she do? Always creating and always believing.
Yeah. Damn.
All the way to the point that she created a fragrance.
No shit.
To even today is sought after as one of the highest brands around.
Holy shit, that's wild.
Chanel.
No way. No way.
And I think that original Chanel number 5 is what it's called, I think, was that original one that she created so long ago.
That's
everything
wild.
about her, and this is what I love, right? I'm going through my stuff and I'm digging and then you hear stuff like these people that,
yeah,
you just go, yes, what was it? Why? Creativity, always believing in herself.
yeah.
Always. I can do
First and
this.
foremost.
I can do this. I can
Yeah,
do this.
man. That's great. I love that kind of like tenacious attitude that just you like believing yourself against all odds, like it's man, that's wild. Oh my God, I can't wait to tell my wife that story. That's crazy.
Yeah. But
That's
even all out, I mean, at the same time, it becomes like here's where I'm at.
mm, yeah,
Here's where
yeah.
I want to be.
Yeah. It's true,
And how do I
Mm,
not? Because so many of us just get stuck in where we're at and where we're from. And
yeah,
this, you know, can't change. You have to be.
yeah,
Hmm? Can you
yeah.
change? Can a person change their life? Can a person change their
I think
trajectory? Can a
I think
person create?
100%.
Absolutely, they
Yeah,
can.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like you look at a guy like Jeff Bezos went on TV and they told him his idea was fucking nuts. And now it's like, boom, the guy's putting shit in space. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, and I think so. 100%. Like I think of even my own trajectory that everybody, like I hear people all the time, they'll be like, oh, I had a hard life though. You don't understand because of this, because of that, whatever the case may be. Reality is like without me getting into my own sorrows, like I've had really difficult times, especially when I was a teenager and then into my early 20s, to the point that like even my sister, she's told me, she's like, I can't believe you got to where you are and you've accomplished all the things you have. And one time she had asked me, she's like, what was your trick to like starting a business? I said, the first step was just starting it. That was just it. Like, and she's
Yeah.
like, no,
Figure it
really?
out.
Like,
Mhm.
what did you do? And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter what I did
Just
first
started.
because
Mhm.
just start it because every business is going to be slightly different. Like if it's a restaurant, maybe the first step is looking for a location, or maybe it's choosing the food I want to create or whatever. Like every step could be different, but it starts with just starting it and
Mhm.
believing that no matter what obstacle is going to come my way, no matter how the economy changes, or no matter if a guy opens up down the road and he's offering, like, $20 details, no matter what happens, we'll make it work. Like, and that's part of why I wrote that first book there, the master class, was because I realized early on all the obstacles we were going to have. And I said, fuck, wouldn't this be perfect to document this process and show how we're going to take something that was just an old parking garage and we're going to go from $0 to $1 million in 12 months. And I said, that's what we're going to do. And that now became the clear mission. It was, that's where we're going to go. And I believed without a doubt, that's what we're going to go. And my wife as well. She was like, we're going to do this. She put on rubber boots and she came to clean with me. And that's what we did together. And people were telling us, they're like, fuck, you guys already sold businesses. You have money. Like, you don't have to do this. We're like, no, we do. We do have to do this together because we're going to document it and figure it out. And then we're going to get to our goal. And now, those same people, some of them have asked us for a job. Like, can I come work there? Stuff. And I'm like, oh, sure. But thanks for believing me at the beginning. But they didn't work out. But anyway, yeah, but I documented the whole thing because we started it in the back of a plaza. You have to drive past dumpsters to get there. We had no sign at the road. We had nothing. And we were entering into what a lot of people would say is already a saturated city because we had a million people and there were already like 7 or 8 detailers that were top notch, apparently. And then fast forward 6 months and we were getting death threats from 2 of them, and it's like they didn't believe anymore that they could. And we still believed that we could. That was the difference. Damn, man, belief and fear. I think that's the title of today's one. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's I like it, man. Marty, appreciate you as always. And next week we will be back with more tips because we do not run out over here. We are tipped up from top to tip. But
Good
so
thing you
we're
got a
building.
bouquet.
Yeah, there we go. Exactly. So guys, post how you're using ChatGPT if you are using it. If you're not, please post how you would like to use it. Let's all work together and make ChatGPT our robotic slave. I don't know. It's maybe not the best way to, I don't know, our bitch. I don't know. Let's make ChatGPT put in the work for us. All right. Good stuff. I will be giving away this book. There will be more to come as well. Marty, good stuff. We'll see you next week. And guys, be sure, I mentioned it last week, but this week especially, check out Pints and Polisher podcast. You're going to get to hear more from the King of Snow. All right, let's go. That's it. I'm going to make it stick. Yeah, I'm going to make it stick. That's All right, man. Appreciate you, brother. See you next week. Thanks. Cheers.